Hello, everybody. Welcome to Business Entertainment. Today we are with Fred North. He started his career off in the military and then transitioned into being a film stunt pilot. All right, Frederick, how are we doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very
Good,
much.
good. So I know you started off in the military. What in your mind, what made you jump into going to flight school?
So first of all, in the military, it was not flight school.
Okay.
The military was in France back then. You had to do 12 months. It was a mandatory kind of service that you had to do. So there was not a choice. So then I decided to do. At the time, I didn't know I wanted to fly. So I went in a mountains area called Chamonix. It's a famous place for mountain climbers. So I was very into sport back then. So I did my 12 months there. But what happened is while doing that, I did work with helicopters for rescue operation. So that's when I decided to, that's what I want to do. I didn't know about the film work, but I wanted to be when I look at the rescue, it was so rewarding, as a job to come from the air. It's like the white
Oh,
horse, going and saving
I couldn't
somebody.
imagine. I couldn't imagine the
Yeah.
adventures that you had to. Oh my, that's
So
incredible.
it was amazing. So I was on the ground back then, but when I seen, those helicopter coming in to rescue us, even when it was training and stuff, I said, this is amazing. I mean, if you put yourself in perspective, like you're dying on a rock wall somewhere and you think you're going to die, and then you get that machine comes in there, save you, is like, what the heck? So that's when I decided to be a helicopter pilot.
Then you started doing that after that. You started doing that. You did jump into that, or what did you do after that?
Yes. As soon as I
Awesome.
finished my service, then I jumped directly into flight school. So after flight school, I did sightseeing tours basically for 1 year in a helicopter that was so crappy, no maintenance, problem after problems, unpaid, just the beginning of it. So
Oh
I did
yeah.
I did tours, and after a year and a half of that, then I went to another company to do charter flights, and then slowly by slowly, I went to the filming part of it.
I got you. So how did you exactly make that transition into filming?
So I was working at the time for a company that was doing the support for the Paris Dakar car rally race, which is like the Barra, California, but for more like a worldwide race. It's been going for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years. It's a really a big event in France, but it's from France, but it's not in France. It's all over the world. It was in South America for a little bit, and now it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, back then that helicopter company was doing the support for the race, so providing 8 helicopters. So then I was one of the pilots, and I was working for the TV. The TV coverage back then had 5 helicopters. I was the lead pilot for to filming the cars. That race have cars, trucks, and motorcycles, and then the race support. So I was taking care of the cars with our going 140 miles an hour, and there was no camera system by then. It was a cameraman in the back, in the cabin, with a camera on the shoulder,
That's
door open
crazy.
and flying sideways at super fast. So that's how I kind of managed to build my skill.
That's insane, man. Now the systems are just ridiculous. Right here, remote. You got the monitor. You're mounted in. You can do everything right there.
You're
That's
right.
amazing, man.
No, back then it was crazy. The guy is in the back, just camera in the
That's
shoulder, his
nuts.
legs
Yeah.
outside, and then you're flying sideways so you don't see the blades and the helicopter. And then you filming cars on a place that you've never been before.
No.
Wires, you can have a ton of problems. So it was
That's
crazy.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So doing all that, is that what you saw yourself going, or you were just like, I love flying. I want to go wherever I can go to just keep flying.
Yes. So I did. I mean, I did that. I did some rescues as well. I've done mountain supports, like bringing food to cabin, altitude high cabin stuff, rescues to mountain climbers, a lot of stuff. And then when I went to the TV stuff, that's when I realized that I love the filming aspect of it. But the TV, the news coverage, it's more about what's happening on the ground. They don't really care too much the way you shoot it. When you do a film, it's not about what's happening on the ground, it's the way you shoot it. It's a big difference right there. So as far as my creativity, you know, like to be part of the creative aspect of it, it's how you shoot it and not what you are shooting. So then after I wanted to leave the news world because I wanted to be part of the creative process.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to go to the film business, you know.
I love it. Every maneuver that you do for any production is like just a crazy piece of art, honestly. The way that you
Thank you.
meticulate every little thing that goes, that's crazy. I love it. I love the
Thank you.
way that you handle it. It's amazing. I've
Thank you.
handled
Yeah,
I've handled fixed wing aircraft, so I've never rotary wing. I'm just a private, you know, don't get me nothing crazy like you. That's so cool though. I love it.
you have to start somewhere. But I mean, you know, for the stuff I do with the camera, and in the director's perspective, the helicopter doesn't exist. It's just the camera. So it's a flying camera. And to make it work, you have to be connected to the camera. So when you fly the machine, it's not about flying the machine, you're flying the camera. So if between the camera and yourself, there's the machine, then it's not gonna work out. You know?
Absolutely. And I also read, I love the part in your article that I read on, I can't remember what magazine it was, when you said, because she asked you about drone flying and if they were going to actually take over. And you're right, because they're not right there. It's so different when your hands are on the stick right there firsthand. Like, it's crazy because you are the camera. You are literally the camera.
You're correct. Exactly.
I love
and
it.
That's why people with drones don't understand is when you're on the ground with a drone, first of all, you have plenty challenge as a cameraman, because we are, even if we're not cameramen, we are behind the camera. There's a cameraman with us. But what I mean is, like, if you're on the ground and the camera is 400 feet away from you, how can you see? You're always going to be behind the action. So you can really only do approved shot, which is not what we do. So a director will say, because they're stuck on the ground and they can only go 400 yards away or feet or whatever from where they are, the director will say, can you go from this building to this building, or can you follow that car and so we can tell the story. So the drone will be more, there is not really action with drone on a big movie, for example. Usually the drones are really in between the crane, the camera
B-rolls and stuff,
and the helicopter.
Or,
they can do you know, A-roll and stuff, but it's different because of the nature of the challenge that they get. Drones are pretty big for the you know, for the camera package, right? So which means when they're big, it's hard for them to turn like super quickly. The other issue that they have is the camera is underneath the rotor system, which means each time you look up, you get half of the frame with the blades.
I know,
So
I am a drone pilot. It is challenging.
Yeah,
so
it's a challenge. So it's difficult for those guys because some people don't know how to use it, and they put those drone guys in a place that is tough. So if the drone is used as a drone, it's not a problem, and they can do amazing shot. I mean, I love some drone shots.
For sure.
But when they start, if they try to do helicopter shots, it's always a disappointment for everybody, you know, for the director, for the drone guys. It's put them in the corner. So that's why there is no overtaking each other. It's two different tools.
For sure. It really is. There's two very different pieces of art and craft in itself. And it's crazy because you are almost like you are the camera, but I mean, the camera is also another actor in some, you know, I would say, you know, because you're giving that audience their perspective, you know. So, and that's the way I love that you perceive on each piece that you do, like each stunt that you do or each piece of B-roll that you do. Like, I love that, the way that you approach each flight. That's cool. And I love the outcome too. Obviously, the outcome's incredible.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, the director doesn't really care about the helicopter, right? It's only the end result. So that's why you have to be connecting with the camera and then forget the helicopter and take the camera where, I mean, you have an amazing machine in your hands. You can bring that camera anywhere you want, at the speed you want. You can do a lot for a shot to be amazing. So, that's what I love with it.
Absolutely. So what do you do? What else do you do? Like, as a passion that you do, you think you're only going to be doing, filming with helicopters for, the next 40 years or so, or what else do you have planned?
No, I mean, I'm an expert film pilot, so that's my job, right? So that's the stuff I do. I only do, as for the helicopter, just, film work, yes.
Yeah.
And now I have some equipment, like the helicopter, I have camera system, stuff like that. So I'm running also, that part of the business, which is a business part of it. But the core, it's the flying, Now, privately, I do a lot of other things, but professionally, that's what I'm doing.
So is it just you? Do you use like the same camera operator each time, or do you have a couple different guys that you use?
So we have a team, like three guys that we use, that part of our team, and they're the best in the world. And so it goes between the three of them. So it depends who gets the movie. It depends because each of them have different personality, different style. So some of them don't like to go. Don't want to go to travel to like Saudi Arabia for one day, so it depends who has the job, what's the nature of the job, and then they pick up me or I pick them. It's a team effort, but we always the three of us, we're always the same team. Yes.
Okay. So what are you doing to keep you busy at the moment with all the coronavirus stuff going on at the moment?
Sorry, I missed
Oh,
the
no.
piece.
What are you doing to keep yourself busy during the coronavirus at the moment?
So right now, I've been doing other type of work. I work for like a flyover movie theater that they need content. So that company basically built the movie theaters and they deliver the content to the final client. So I just came back 2 days ago and I was on the road for 2 weeks filming I went to Alaska, I went to all the big national park, Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, that stuff, and filming all that stuff for those guys. So I'm doing other things, but it's not connected to Hollywood directly. But
I get it. So a bunch of people individually contract you to shoot content for them, like a bunch of different people. Okay,
You're
awesome.
right.
So you just have your hands in a bunch of different pots, pretty much.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, which because of COVID situation. Otherwise, I don't think I would do those kind of jobs. Not that I don't like them. It just I'll be too busy with the big projects,
Yeah, I got you. But you want to stay on the sticks. I get it.
Sure. No, filming is filming. I don't really care, for who I'm filming. I mean, to a point, of course. But I mean,
I get it.
It doesn't matter. The job was awesome. The people say sometimes when you don't shoot an action, when you're just shooting like a landscape or whatever, it's still very engaging because if it's going to be a boring shot, like in the script, it's very hard to not make it boring, which means you have to challenge yourself, push the envelope to a point to make it interesting. And this is why, you can see in my videos, even if it's a canyon or something, I'm going to try to make it work so the audience exactly. So the audience is like, whoa. And it could be a very boring shot if you stay level with it, or you go from high to low, or if you're just doing a 360 around it. So there's always a way to make it work. And because with the helicopter, we can be 360 degrees around whatever you're filming, you're in control on the airspace. So just your decision. Where do you want to go? Anywhere you want, at the speed you want, the energy you want. So that's what I like.
I love it. I love the way you just become a part of the aircraft when you take flight.
You're right.
Honestly, I tell people even like go out, even if it's just flying fixed wing, rotary wing, whatever, go out and get your solo and just fly. Like honestly, just do it just to do it. Because it's a crazy, amazing feeling, especially when it's just you up there flying around. I mean,
it's amazing. Yeah, just yourself. It's because in life it's not easy to make an achievement by yourself. It's always somebody's part of it, right? So you take an aircraft, a plane or a helicopter, you the first time you go up in the air, it's just you. Yeah. That's it. Nobody else. And then it's your problem and your challenge, and you need to overcome all the doubt that you have, which I remember when I did my solo at 6 hours. I remember my instructor back then was crazy to let me go at 6 hours, but he did. I almost killed him because I remember it was that big empty field, a grassy field, and he was in the middle of it with a radio, and I took off, and then I did basically 360. And I remember I was so stressed out that he was standing in the middle of it. So instead to land next to him, I basically went towards the guy because I was so stressed out. And I almost landed on him. I remember, and all fine, he went off the thing, but it was funny. But I mean, it was an amazing moment. And even 35 years later, it's still in my mind as one of the best achievements I did at 6 hours. I have 19,000 hours now.
Oh yeah, you've logged an incredible amount now.
Yeah.
That's so. I bet he never solos anybody after 10 hours after that.
I was his first student.
Yeah, I bet he doesn't do it after that.
I was his first student.
That's
normally you solo between 15 to 20 hours, I will say. To let me go at 6 hours was totally, out of the board.
It's so funny.
I was not prepared.
Mm-hmm. Listening to that though, it's so funny because I can picture, because doing my solo, I can just picture, because I can see my instructor walking out on his walkie-talkie, sitting in the grass, waiting for me to taxi around. So I can just picture everything that you were talking about, but just me in the airplane. Because I soloed around, I think it was like seven and a half, something like that. And it was fun. I mean, it was awesome, but I could just picture my instructor walking out with his radio while you're talking about it. So that is for sure something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
And I really advise people to do it because it's so much fun. And if you do it on a plane, it's not that expensive. It's a little bit of money, but it's not crazy money like the helicopter. But even today, I mean, you can do it on a little Robinson. It's money, but it's not crazy money. And it's worth it to do. It will bring confidence to you for life, nothing to do with the aircraft. It just gives you a stronger feeling of achievement, like you decided to do something, you did it, and you succeeded. That will go a long way in life,
Yes, I love it. So, I mean, do you fly? Have you flown airplanes too? Or you just strictly? I love it.
I did my private fixed wing license, but that's all I did. I just did that, and then I figured if you want to be an expert at something, you have to be expert on one thing only. If you start to dividing things, you're not going to be an expert on it. You're just going to be a little bit
75 here, 65 here. Da, da, da.
You're right.
Well, you want to be 97 here, 100%.
I need 200% on one thing, and that's it. And you need to masterize that. And that's the advice I give to all the young pilots that contacting me for advice is like, you need an expertise, just one, and master that one. But don't go to doing 5 things, different type of helicopters, doing type of work. I mean, you're just going to be another guy. That's all you're going to become,
Okay, that makes sense. That's good advice.
It's the same for anything, If you see all the people that's successful in life, it's people that master one craft.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very true. So I like that.
Don't go left to right, above your head, behind your head. Just stay right there.
Exactly. I mean, until I get to a certain point, and then maybe they throw money here and here and invest here and there and create different establishing businesses, whatever. But that's different. But you're 100% right. If you don't hone in on one craft, 100%. Yeah.
I agree with you. You can go to other things after you became that expert, successful expert. Then you can do little things here and there. But you're going to see that when you do those little things here and there, it's not going to be as good than what you mastered.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But
No, I completely agree. And
yeah.
I love, that's why I'm so excited to talk about this because aviation, I mean, I love it to death. But my favorite, I mean, what I do currently is I do content creation, but I do it on the ground. I don't have a helicopter, obviously.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I do it for a bunch of different businesses and stuff like that, and establishing my front there to where I can, create a positive ROI for them. Da 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 da. One day I want to make that jump to where I can start creating my own film. So that's pretty much why I'm doing this. That's
Sure.
why I'm pumped to talk to you, man, because it's like both the things that I'm in love with that you do both, like right there, hand in hand. That's so cool.
Yeah, you have to find your path. So because the thing is, for everything to be working out, because let's say you decide to be, I don't know, an astronaut, whatever. Okay, so something that is so far down the line, but you need to be talented also. Now you create your talent, with a good attitude, with the hard work. um, and I think people don't work hard enough towards one goal. They get lost sometime if they see, for me it was a long road. For me training is like healing. The outcome comes over time. So it's not because if you training, for me it was a long way. I mean, I trained for before really being successful and be able to make a decent living on it and everything. It took me 20 years. And people thinking, oh, what can I do to be a stunt pilot? I say, hey, it's going to take you 20 years. I mean, unless you want to be a big guy, then you can pretend. But it
Yeah.
takes a while. So, but it's the journey. It's not just the end result. So I'm super happy to have gone through those 20 years. It was great. Today I can enjoy it, but the whole trip was fun.
Man, I love that because and I think I believe that in my core because I've heard it from so many people that I like, and I'm starting to become bring it into life and fruition that I love my process now because I know finally, like you're 100% correct. When I get to that point, I'm gonna look back and be like, damn, like that was fun. Like, what's next?
Yes, and you're right. But there's one thing that I will say I'm French and American now, right? 50-50. But in my soul, I'm more French than American because, that's who I am. But the big difference as far as business-wise from Europe, I will say, and I don't want to be a cliche thing. It's just a little, little opinion on it. But between America and Europe, it's in America, they're so they all the energy and time goes to business. Okay, so their whole lives are towards business, and they're talented. They're successful at it because everything goes to business. The problem with that is you always want more because you used that word 1 minute ago. And the problem is you always want more, 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 which means you're not going to necessarily enjoy today because you're always projecting yourself to more. And it's hard. It's a hard thing, I think, in America because the pressure from your peers, it's always what's next? Like, what's next? People always asking me, what's the next job? I say, but can we talk about the one I'm doing right now? I'm just enjoying that one. Why should I think about the next one and the next one? Because the problem with that, for me, is like the secret of happiness is to enjoy the moment. Okay, if you're always projecting yourself to tomorrow, next job, man, I mean, it's fucking hard because you never enjoy the time. So I'm just saying that because if you're going to be an expert at something, enjoy the journey, enjoy the time to get there. It's not about the end result. That's going to happen over time. So I think you always want to put things back in perspective instead to always planning the more and more stuff. I think that's going to lead to making mistakes and unhappiness,
Yeah, you're right. Like, you are. And it's something
philosophy moments. Yeah.
no, I love it because I mean it's something that I do lack that. It's something I try to work on per se, and I'll take moments in time. So I'm like, okay, it's taken a lot to where I've gotten, and I'm pumped to be here. I need to take reflection. I need to recognize the moment, and I
No,
do
you're
try and
right.
work
It's
on
always
that, and sometimes I don't, and a lot of times I don't. I feel like probably 80% of the times you're right, I don't.
sometimes you need to stop to recognize what you achieved. So you need to
Mhm.
stop for a second and say, okay, I did that. I should be proud of myself. Let's enjoy that. And then you also need to enjoy the moment. Simply, oh, that's great what I've been today. It's just simple. It's always day after day after day. So you need to enjoy each day, and then you need to enjoy what you achieved, in the past, instead of always projecting in the future. And for me, that's the business thing. But that's in America, it's tough because people pushing you one car, two cars, three cars, one house, two house, this and
Oh
that,
yeah,
and the,
dumb shit.
so
Yeah,
you're in that system, and you should hold it for a
yeah.
second, and then do the business you want to be a happy guy. But all that stuff is a mix, but you need to find the time, you
100.
know.
And money, shit, I don't even give a damn about that now, finally. But I think you're right though about the journey part, about me getting to where I want to be. I feel like I get hard on myself about that. Money, I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
spend money on dumb shit. A lot of people do, unfortunately,
money
and
comes
I
and
hate it.
yeah,
And people do create some bullshit atmosphere, and they do spend a lot of ridiculous money, and trying to impress the man or the people next neighbors, neighbors across the street, whatever the hell they are. It is ridiculous.
money is a touch and go on a runway. It comes and go. It comes and
Yes.
go.
Chase
So you don't want to
happiness.
be. You need some. So you need to. It's a combination
You
of
need to eat.
talent. You need to
Yeah.
have the expertise. You need to master it. You have to make a living out of it. Yeah.
Sorry, you're getting a little bit of delay. You gotta.
Yeah. I saw that. Is that okay
Okay.
or?
No, no, no. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Awesome. So what'd you do today? What you got going on? Like, what's the latest project you did work on?
So I did that project, for the movie theater, and so that's done for the west side of the U.S. And we need to go to Hawaii and also to Niagara Falls for those guys. But Hawaii there's a quarantine, so we have to wait for the quarantine to be over. Um, you know, and then otherwise I'm prepping for the BBC. I have to shoot a sandstorm. So we're waiting for the sandstorm to come to life
Okay.
so we can go shoot it. So that's kind of a challenge.
Makes sense. Yeah. It's just kind of a sit and wait game on that one. But that'll
Oh
be
yes,
fun.
and also it's a sandstorm coming towards you, so you need to make sure you're not going to get caught in it, and at the same time to be filming it.
That's insane. How close? I mean, how close do you? I mean, you get as close as you can, or how do you go
I
about that
can
shot?
go, yeah, I can go. I would say 400 yards from it, but it comes 40 to 60 miles an hour towards you. So you need to make sure you have an escape route
Yeah,
at all time.
man, that's crazy. Has it? How many? I mean, have you done this type of shot with the sandstorm before, or will this be your first time doing that?
I flew a lot with Sandstorm because back in Africa, so I know them, but I never shot one because usually you just try to get away from those things. But I have kind of a plan in my head, so it'll be fine. It'll be a moment of being focused and stuff, but we'll have to manage, and it depends if it's a clear wall. If it's a wall coming towards us, it's kind of easier. It goes to 8,000 feet, so you never want to escape through the altitude because it takes too much time. You're going to get caught. You have to escape through to the side. So it can be 20
Hmm.
miles wide, so it's not too bad. So you just need to not be in the middle, in front of it. Or I mean, you can, but then you have to be 120 miles an hour going away from it. But then you're just chasing your tail. You have to get off to the side. So the best is to don't go in the middle, just go like maybe a little bit in from the one side so you can always get out around it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Well, at least you know how to articulate it and adjust accordingly. So that's why they pay you the big bucks. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
Make a
also
plan,
takes
and then
ridiculous amount of
it will
dedication.
work out.
20 years of dedication is what it took that. And that's what I love to hear. It's what a lot of people don't
Yeah.
understand because a lot of people
Yeah.
are dreamers. They have these certain ideas, but they'll never execute. I don't understand why.
Because it's always connected with money. People don't want to wait. They want to buy it, or they buy the training and they think it's you get your license and then that's it. But it doesn't work that way in life, right? You have to pay your dues, basically. You know.
You're right. Dedicate yourself, pay your dues, and one day you get there 100%. And it's a cliche as hell when people say it, when I say it, and when I hear it. But it's there's no class you can buy like outside of, I'm talking from, there's no magical thing that you can do that's going to get you to that point. So grind it out if you love it, and eventually you're going to get to where you want to be. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that with my soul so far. So that's all I.
Yes. And it's the key of the success is to be patient.
And it's tough. And that's tough for a lot of people.
But yes and no.
It's an adjustment.
It's not tough if you enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
It is tough if you project yourself to be happy when you get it.
Yes.
But if you're happy when you're doing it, what's the rush?
A lot of people, I think that they just they take other people's opinions to heart like crazy, and they just, that's what I think it is. I mean, everybody just listens to everybody else or looks at everybody else, and they build up this fairy tale bullshit pretty much is what it is, and they don't end up going out and chasing the things that they actually truly love to do, is what I think. They wouldn't, eat shit for a few years.
I get a lot of message. I get a lot of message from people that, oh, I wish I was a helicopter pilot, or I wish I should have done that earlier. And I'm always telling them, but just do it now. What's the wish thing? And if you don't have the money, do 5 hours or just get solo, and then that's it. Just do something that you can live with.
Yeah, do something. I mean, sitting here whining about it isn't going to get you anywhere. I don't know. I have
wish
sympathy.
To have done that. Yeah, I wish to have done that. I wish that it's like, stop right there. Just do it. Or take those words out of your mouth. We all inspire each other. So I have to do my part, and, because it's because of other people that I became who I am today. And today I'm just a cruising speed, I'm super happy where I am. But so, I take the time to try to inspire other people. I mean, that's my arrogant moment, but just, trying to do it the right way.
Put in plenty enough work to where you can have those moments, because you are, you're there. You've done an amazing job.
No, thank you. But it's always a fine balance, especially as a pilot, where you need the confidence, you need a little bit of ego to have the confidence, but you don't want to be a dick about it. And it's always a balance, okay? It's not just with helicopters, that's for other things too. But so for me, I can see other pilots that I know, and they're so arrogant. They're very good, but they're so arrogant. And I think the arrogance is taking away their success, because then they become unpleasant people. And for me, it's super important. And that's why I'm taking the time to respond to, guys like you that trying to inspire other people, because that's what we have to do. We have to share our experience and our life view so we can understand more and then become better. And, it's helping you, it's helping me, it will help your audience. And that's what's important to me.
Absolutely. I love that. There's a humanistic approach to almost everything that I do, and 100%, I agree with you. And I love that you are 100% doing your part as well, and you're bringing a lot of value to people.
That's good.
I love that. And I'm curious, so out of all, we'll just jump back to the film industry if you want, because I feel like that is your deepest passion with what you do. That's probably the most exciting part anyway. What's your favorite job or maybe sequence that you've shot?
I mean, it's more about the director that is asking me, that built a sequence around what we do. So a guy like Michael Bay, for example, or Justin Lin. So Michael Bay, everybody knows him, director Transformers and all those stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Bad Boys, yeah. And then Justin Lin, for example, the Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, basically, they know what we can do. And then when they write their stories or direct their movies, they think about what we can do. So then I love those movies because they kind of design a little bit for us, a little bit, you know. So the last Bad Boys, for example, there was I don't know if you watched the movie. Did you watch the last one?
I did, yes.
So there's that sequence at night where the helicopter is chasing, you know, with Will Smith on the truck and the explosion and the rope ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning, when the director talked to me and he said, you know, I want you to fly at night 1 foot or 2 feet off the ground, super fast against traffic, against cars and trucks traffic. And they're going to open up in front of you while you keep going. And it's just the way they say that. I said, sure, no problem. You know, but then—
Were you pumped in your head though? Where you were like—
No, I wasn't trying to envision, you know, I always try to put myself in there. Like, first of all, can I do it safely? And can we do it 50 times? Because it's not just once. You have to do it 20 times, 30 times. Okay, so, and there's an explosion and there's other things. So I said, sure. So in my head, I'm already like, how can I do it for them to be able to build the sequence? So yes, I was pumped up because it was like, it's an amazing sequence. And, you know, they gave me the time to prep it, and then we did it the right way, and it was awesome. So that stuff, for example, I really like those kind of stunt, but organized stunts, you know. And Michael Bay, for example, is great for that because he's always come to us and he said, okay, Fred, do your thing. You know, he knows, and then we know what he wants, and then we just do it. And so it's not one movies, it's more about people, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. You built up that relationship to where you can almost— he builds you as a character, but he's like, okay, but do your thing because I know you have the eye for exactly what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Well, like when we did Six Underground, the Netflix movie with Ryan Gosling last year, and he had that sequence in Rome. It was at night, and I don't remember if you have you watched the movie Six Underground.
Yes.
So I don't know if you remember. At the end, there's a penthouse in Hong Kong, and there's some cranes, and there's that whole attack on the penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
So that sequence, in fact, was on a parking lot in Rome. They built a penthouse on a parking lot, 2-story up, and then all the cranes. And then we went to Hong Kong to shoot the plates, and then they put that penthouse on one building in Hong Kong. Long story short, we were 50 feet off the ground to shoot that penthouse, but it was at night. Was a lot of obstacles, you know, building structure, cranes. And I remember Michael saying, you know, so they had to move up the schedule. So I was not going to be able to do that sequence in Rome because I was going to in Jordan and doing Star Wars. And then I told him, you know, Michael, I can't do it because you guys moved the schedule. So I was available and I can do it, but my partner can do it and everything. And then he said, no fucking way. You know, I designed that sequence. You have to do your thing. You have to be there. I mean, super loyal director, you know, and so I really appreciate that and thankful for that because the business, the way it works, it's just loyalty to people, right? So anyway, he moved the schedule again so I can do it, and I did it, and it was so awesome to do, you know, so awesome to do. And the sequence is pretty good, I mean, I have to say.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I saw it.
Because at night you have all those lights in your face, you know, it's hard to see. They add smoke and light. So it's like if you put yourself in a car driving at night and then you have bright headlights in your head and you put smoke. So, and then you're flying and you have obstacles. So it brings some challenge, but
yeah,
it was,
just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So just stuff like that I really like. Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. I bet you hate just regular flying now because you're so used to flying on a dime, like just a pinpoint piece of, like I said, a piece of art. Just like going up in the air is kind of like.
Yeah, it has to be engaging. If it's just a ferry flight, I'm not really interested anymore. Yeah. You know, I did that. So now it's about the stunt work. That's what I like to do. It's only a few seconds, you know, but you have to be on it those few seconds.
What do you think was the most challenging one? Was one of the ones that you just talked about was the most challenging one, or do you have something that was probably a little bit
No,
more?
I mean,
I know you get months and months of preparation before something like this, but correct.
yes, yes, we do a lot of prep. We send our team, they go, they scout, they check, we measured, we talk to the special effect people about the explosion. They show us testing they've been doing. We analyze, what it's the whole team work together. There is no surprise. Everything is organized, and there's a protocol, there's a plan, there's a escape route, and the FAA is there. We work as a team with them. They're part of the process. We explain everything to them. There's complete transparency. If they have a concern, they tell us, we address it. Sometimes we ask them to help us address a concern. So it's a total open, protocol. And but there's no really most challenging. They're all kind of challenging on their own. Even last week when I was flying towards the skywalk at the Grand Canyon, you're going 120 miles an hour, and then everything is challenging. You have to be on it. Sometimes the challenge is 1 second. It can be 6. It can be 15. I will say sometimes the most challenging one is not necessarily all those stunts. It can be going to the set and there's a foggy day and there's wires, you don't know where they are. I mean, that sometimes can be way more challenging than an organized set with everything has been rehearsed and prepped. Of course, we cannot make a mistake, but I mean, it's organized. But when you go to the set in the morning and it's a fogged in and you have 600 people waiting for you and the bloody fog is there, you have to say no if you can't do it. You try what you can, but sometimes this is more challenging than the stunt itself.
Man, that's crazy. I couldn't even imagine that. That's great. I don't know. I couldn't do it.
You can. It's because if you have a mission, if you have a job, and then all your life is organized to get it done, so you prep yourself, and then this is why we have a custom trailer. For example, if you've seen my Insta story, and we can put the helicopter inside. We designed that trailer in that purpose. So if the weather is too bad, we can always put it in the trailer and drive it to set.
Oh, okay, beautiful. But you mostly, as the weather's good, you pretty much fly it everywhere, or?
I use the trailer for long distance.
Okay. And then you don't ride with it. You just fly something else.
Yeah, I just take an airline, and then there's a couple of explanation for the trailer. First of all, we put all our equipment in it, so there is no shipping. We control the equipment; it just get delivered directly to the set. And then also the machine is already pre-rigged with the camera stuff and everything, so we're super quickly ready. There is no weather concern, so we're always there, no matter what. And also there's a cost, there, because if you fly, it's more expensive. So if I have a 3-day job in Texas, I send the trailer. We're talking about nothing for money. And if I was flying there, it's 10 hours. Now it's $25,000. So one way. So then that's why the trailer is important. And it was a big investment, but it's absolutely amazing to have it.
Yeah, over time, you're going to save a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. So is there anything that you can speak about with the film industry if it's going to pick back up? Or any
well, I mean, the studios have some hard time with, they really want to come back. Everybody wants to come back. And the problem is the insurance, basically, that if you take a $200 million movie and one guy get the COVID, the virus, they have to shut it down. And, if it's 200 million, let's say we all go to Thailand and we start shooting, they spend, 15 million. And now they have to stop, everybody's to go back. So insurance not going to cover the studio for that. And the studio cannot take, the risk. It's too much money. So that's what they're waiting for. So what they're doing right now, they're doing smaller movies like 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. So if it does happen, it only costs them a little bit. They can manage, but they cannot really do big ones. So right now they try to finish the movie that started it. Like the Batman movie, the Jurassic Park. They try to finish it with a smaller crew, but there is no new projects coming up. So, but they have more time to write scripts. They have more time to prep the storyboard, the previs. So I'm pretty sure that as soon as, you know, the situation will be resolved, we're going to be busy like crazy. So we should enjoy the time off.
Yes, adjust and learn some other things, have some fun.
Yes.
Whatever you gotta do.
Yeah.
And you talked about storyboards just now, and I looked at some of the ones that you had posted as well. How much does that actually help you when you're articulating a certain flight sequence?
So it really helped me a lot to understand what the sequence is, because we need to understand if it's what we're going to be doing is purely action, if it's storytelling, what is the editing just before our shots and what it is after, how many seconds my shot is going to be. Is it a 5 seconds, 1 second, 15, 45? Because if it's 5 seconds, I need to show or explain the story in 5 seconds, how I do that. If it's 45 seconds, let's say it's a guy coming from the city, driving from the city, going to the airport, and there's a dialogue scene in the car. I'm not going to be shooting the same way than if it's only a guy going super fast from the airport to the city, showing in 5 seconds. So I need to know. The storyboard helped me understand that, and it also helped me understand screen direction. Is it a left to right or right to left? Because if I'm filming a car, if you're looking at a movie and the car comes from the left of the frame to the right, going from the city to the airport, but if I'm shooting in the other way, people are going to say, why you turn around? So I need to understand screen directions and have to shoot it, you know, with the right side. And we have to understand what the sun is going to be, because we're shooting backlight or cross light. So if you have to shoot the car from left to right and the sun is on the opposite side, I have to wait the afternoon to shoot it, or the morning. So the storyboard gives you all that information. It's also going to give me the lens size. Is it zoomed into the car, or is it a wide? What the director has in mind. I need to understand what's in his head. And the storyboard, it's him that designed it. So directors, because they're so creative, sometimes they're in a bubble and they don't always have the words to translate what they have in their heart and mind. So sometimes you have to pull it like a tooth, but the storyboard will help you get the info, you know, without giving frustration to that amazing director that struggled, right, to explain to you what he wants to do. So that's why the storyboard is very important.
Okay, I got you. Absolutely, I believe so too. I was just curious. I mean, and also, what kind of like camera system is actually on the aircraft? And
so the best one on the planet, and the one I've been using the past 10 years, it's called the Shotover. It's a company based between New Zealand and the US, and it's an amazing system. I mean, it's really an amazing system. I mean, it's just, I can do almost anything and the image will be rock steady, you know. There are a couple of limitations, but they're really minor. It's also the only system that has a 6-axis, and that 6-axis is basically if you filming a car just underneath you. So the camera is looking straight down to the car. The helicopter is straight above the car. If I make movement with the helicopter left or right, you have to understand that the camera at that time will just move with the helicopter if you don't have a 6-axis. The 6-axis is basically the free range of movement when you're looking straight down. So let's say if there's a strong wind coming from the right and I'm hovering above the car. To stay above the car, I'm going to have to put an angle on the helicopter. Otherwise, I'll be drifting to the left. So you do a little angle, but if you do the angle, the camera will then be off the car. The 6-axis allow you to have free range of motion vertically. And the shutter, and I'm just saying that because it's a very important technical detail as far as filming, because we do a lot of straight down shots. And the shotover is the only one in the world to have the 6-axis. So this is one of the reasons that we're using that.
And is the camera actually built into the gimbal system, or is it completely separate?
So the gimbal is an open structure.
Mm-hmm.
You can put any camera you want in there. And the shotover we're using as the K1, so the K1, F1, M1, different sizes. the K1 is the biggest one, and we have big package. So you prep and rig the camera and the lens in there. It's about 2 hours process. You balance it, and then the system basically is calculating all the movements 16,000 times per second. So if you could see, if your eyes were like a bionic eye, you could see the vibration of the system, but because it's correcting the angle so fast, it's invisible to a human eye. So it's amazing.
That is incredible. That's great. What do you typically shoot with in there? Just pretty much whatever is adjusting with each project?
We always use, we use 3 or 4 different cameras, and every 2 years they change. But it really varied. We use Red, we use Ari, we use, but each DP, director of photography, we have to use the one they're using for the ground shots. So there's a continuity, but we use digital most of the time. We use film sometime, but rarely, but we can put a film camera on the short order as well, a 35mm camera. We can put an IMAX, but I would say 98% is digital and 2% is film.
So what do you, and I feel like that film system would be so big in there too.
It's big.
I
It's
bet
huge.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you love, do you actually get to go out and watch your movies and you're just like sitting there pumped like a little kid, like just waiting for your little part to come
Absolutely.
out?
1000%. I drag my family to see stupid movies that I did, but yes, I'm super happy. I want to see it on the big screen. I love Netflix and all that stuff, and I put the biggest TV I can put in my house without my wife killing me alive. But I love the big screen. I want to see and feel the action. So yes, I love going to the movie theaters.
Nothing compares to IMAX.
Nothing. I mean, look, the emotion you have, you are in it. I mean, it's so important, and that's why when I do the stunt stuff and I shoot it, I'm trying to picture myself. What can I do to drive the audience crazy? I want to make sure I connect with the audience when I do the shot itself. I'm not thinking just for the shot. I'm thinking, okay, people are going to see that. So what can I do to freak them out? So they're going to remember and enjoy the moment. So it's in my mind. Oh,
I love that so much. And people always say, like, because I do businesses with some theaters and stuff like that. People are always like, some people, theaters are gonna die. Da, 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 da. I was like, absolutely not, because there are certain cinema, like there are cinema lovers like you and myself that are not gonna let that die. There's no
No,
way.
I mean, yes, they may be affected for some of it, but people
Hmm.
will want to go to the movie theater. I mean, it's streaming videos. It's good because it's really
It's an
easy.
alternative. Hmm.
PS alternative, but a normal situation, you want to go on Friday night and Saturday night to the movie theater. I mean, it's an amazing event. I love to go. I don't think that's going to go anywhere because it's an emotion. If that goes away, then you're just going to be robots staying home or ordering from Amazon. That's not going to happen. People are going to be fed up with it to a point they're going to want to get out. So
Yeah,
it's fine.
you're 100%
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
awesome, man. Well, I do appreciate you hanging out with us and giving us as
You're
much as
welcome.
your perspective as you can.
My
And
pleasure.
I'm pumped to watch your next project and all the extra stunts you do down the road. Because I've been
My
following you on
pleasure.
Instagram for years, man. I love watching every little thing that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Well,
anytime, if you want to do another one of those, we'll do it later. Not a problem.
absolutely, my man. I appreciate it.
Yes,
We'll definitely keep in touch and we'll do something down the road.
absolutely. Okay. Thank you to
Awesome.
everybody. Thanks for the audience and see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you, Bradley. Bye. Bye.
Awesome. Well, you heard it from him. I was sitting here nervous because I was pumped about this. I couldn't wait to do this. I felt like a little kid in a candy store. He Aviation and film, my two absolute favorite things in the world, and he does both of them. I just wanted to sit here and talk to him all day. I almost forgot that there was another camera here. So if I look bored to death here, is because I was staring into his soul, just trying to absorb every little thing that he had to say, and I hope you guys did as well. because he's amazing. He does amazing work. Check out some of the films he was talking about if you haven't already. Follow him on Instagram, and we'll catch you next time.